Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let it out. Slowly. Imagine you are safe inside a warm cabin. Feel the weight of the blanket on your shoulders. Smell the scent of the burning wood, crackling in the fireplace. Outside, the winter wind is howling through the trees, carrying with it the heavy, white blanket of snow. You are safe here, warm and protected. But out there, in the vast silence of the Plumas National Forest, the snow hides a secret. Tonight, we travel back in time, back to the winter of 1978, to a winding mountain road where 5 men drove into the darkness and simply vanished. This is the story of the Yuba County Five, a mystery, frozen in time. Let the warmth of the fire relax you as we step into the cold. They were known affectionately as the Boys, 5 friends from Yuba City, California. Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, Ted Wire, Jack Madruga, and Gary Mathias. They were a tight-knit group, bound together by their love for sports and their gentle nature. They were grown men, but they possessed a certain innocence. It was February 24th, 1978, a Friday. The winter air was crisp, but their spirits were high. The boys were excited. They had a basketball game the very next day, a tournament they had been preparing for weeks to play in. They had their uniforms laid out on their beds, waiting for the morning sun. They talked about it constantly. That evening, they piled into Jack Madruga's car, a 1969 Mercury Montego. Picture it in your mind, a sturdy, large machine, painted in turquoise and white. A beautiful car, shining under the streetlights. They drove to the city of Chico to play a game against a local team, and they won. The mood in the car must have been celebratory. Just 5 friends, laughing, replaying the highlights of the game, driving through the cool California night. They stopped at a convenience store around 10 p.m. They bought snacks for the ride home, Hostess fruit pies, a Snickers bar, a soda, simple pleasures. The clerk watched them leave the store. The bell on the door chimed as they walked out into the parking lot. It was the last time anyone would see them alive. They were supposed to drive south, back to Yuba City. It was a straight, easy drive down Highway 99, a route they knew well. Warm beds were waiting for them, but for reasons that remain one of the greatest mysteries of the century, the turquoise Mercury Montego didn't turn south. Instead, it turned east, towards the mountains, towards the darkness, towards the snow. As they drove, the city lights faded behind them. The road changed from smooth asphalt to a rough, winding logging road, the Oroville-Quincy Road. They began to climb higher and higher into the Sierra Nevada mountains. The air grew thinner, the temperature dropped below freezing, and then the snow began to fall. At first, just a few flakes hitting the windshield, then a white curtain blocking out the world. Yet they kept driving, miles and miles away from home, deep into the heart of the forest. 4 days passed. It is now February 28th. A park ranger is driving along that remote, treacherous road. In winter, this road is usually a wall of white, impassable to most. And there, sitting alone in the snow, was the Mercury Montego. The car wasn't crashed, it wasn't broken down. It was simply parked, The ranger approached cautiously. The tires had spun a little in the snow, but 5 strong men could have easily pushed it free. The gas tank was a quarter full. The engine started immediately when the police turned the key. It was as if the car was waiting for them to return. Inside, the wrappers from their snacks were still there. The car was unlocked. One window, the driver's window, was rolled down, letting the freezing mountain air settle on the seats. Snow had drifted inside, covering the upholstery in a fine white dust. But the most haunting detail was the silence. There were no footprints. None. The heavy snowfall in the days following their disappearance had scrubbed the mountain clean. It was as if the car had been placed there by a ghost. Why were they here? They were 70 miles away from home, far up a mountain road, in dress shoes and light jackets, totally unprepared for a winter blizzard. The forest around them was vast, dark, and silent. The trees stood like silent sentinels, guarding the truth. Months passed. The seasons changed. The snow began to melt, retreating from the earth, revealing the tragic truth hidden beneath. 19 miles away from the car, deeper into the wilderness, there was a trailer used by the Forest Service for hikers. In June, when the thaw finally came, searchers found a window broken. Inside lay Ted Weiher. He had been wrapped in 8 sheets, tucking himself in against the bitter cold. His shoes were missing. His feet were frostbitten. The tragedy of the trailer is not just death. It is the mystery of survival. Inside that trailer, there was a propane tank for heat. It was full, but it was never turned on. There was a fireplace, ready to be used. But no wood was ever burned. Even more heartbreaking, there were dozens of cans of military-grade food, sea rations, enough to feed all 5 men. For a year, a can opener was right there, in a locker. But only a few cans were opened. Ted had lived there for weeks, perhaps months, slowly starving, freezing, while surrounded by food and fuel. Why? Why didn't he light the fire? Why didn't he eat? Some theories say they were afraid that something or someone had chased them up that mountain, that they were hiding in the trailer, too terrified to make a noise, too terrified to light a fire that might reveal their location in the dark. Or perhaps, in the confusion of the hypothermia, disoriented and lost, they simply didn't realize help was right there, in their hands. The bodies of the other men were found scattered in the woods as the snow retreated. The remains of Bill Sterling and Jack Madruga, the remains of Jack Hewitt, only Gary Mathias, remains missing to this day, vanished into the vast green ocean of the Plumas National Forest. The Yuba County Five took their secrets with them. Was it a wrong turn, a moment of confusion, or were they running from something we cannot see? The wind through the pines whispers their names, but gives no answers. The forest keeps its promise of silence. As we leave the snowy peaks of the Sierra Nevada, let the image fade. You are back in your warm room. The fire is still crackling. You are safe. Let your breathing slow down, in and out. We will leave the mountains for now. Rest your eyes. The snow has stopped falling. All is quiet. Take a moment to adjust your position. Let the tension flow out of your shoulders. You're still safe, warm, and protected. We leave the freezing snow of the Sierra Nevada behind us. The image of the turquoise car fades into the white mist. Now, let your mind travel. We are moving to a different landscape. The San Boys Mountains of Oklahoma. Imagine deep, red earth, rugged cliffs, standing silent against a gray sky, tall pine trees, swaying gently in the autumn wind. It is October 2009. The air is cool, crisp, and smells of dry leaves. There is a stillness here that is different from the snow. It is the stillness of ancient rocks and forgotten paths. Meet the Jameson family, Bobby, Sherilyn, and their 6-year-old daughter, Madison. They were a family looking for peace, looking for a new beginning, away from the noise of the world. They wanted to buy a plot of land, up there, in the mountains, a place to hide. On October 8th, the camera outside their home captured their final moments before leaving. And this is where the mystery begins. Watch them in your mind. They are moving back and forth between their house and their white pickup truck. But they are moving strangely, like sleepwalkers, silent, slow. They load items into the truck, then take them out. They do not speak to each other. They do not look at each other. They are in a trance, as if their minds are already far away, lost in the mountains before they even arrived. Finally, they get into the truck. Their small dog, Maisie, hops in with them. The engine starts, and they drive away into the red dust, never to return. 8 days pass. Hunters are walking through the dense woods, miles from the nearest paved road. The terrain is rough, rocky, difficult to walk on. And there, parked on a steep, dirt trail, is the white pickup truck. It is locked, silent, abandoned. Inside the truck, a miracle and a tragedy. Maisie, the little dog, is still alive, barely. She is curled up under the seat, waiting for the masters, who walked away. But where are they? The truck is not broken. It has fuel, and inside lie all the answers that only lead to more questions. Their wallets are there. Their ID cards are there. Their phones are there. And under the driver's seat, a brown envelope. Inside it is $32,000 in cash. Why? Why would a family struggling with money leave a fortune behind? Why would they walk into the wilderness with nothing? Not a jacket, not a bottle of water, leaving their loyal dog and their entire lives locked inside a metal box. The police found a camera in the truck. On it was the last photo ever taken of little Madison. Visualize this photo. She is standing on a rocky slope. Her arms are crossed. Her face is turned away from the camera. She is not looking at her parents. She's looking at something else, something in the distance. Or perhaps she is just looking at the emptiness. Her expression is not happy. It is resigned, as if she knows they are not going home. Sherilyn, the mother, believed the mountains were special, but she also believed in spirits. She told friends that their house was haunted, that a dark energy was following them. Did that energy follow them here, to the lonely peaks of the San Boys Mountains? Or was it simply the human mind, breaking down under pressure? We may never know. The wind blowing through the pine needles erases all whispers. Let the red dust of Oklahoma settle. Take a slow breath, filling your lungs with cool air. We are moving again, traveling northeast to the state of Vermont. to a place known for its breathtaking beauty and its dark, voracious appetite. They call it the Bennington Triangle. Glastonbury Mountain stands there, vast, silent, and ancient. The locals whisper that the mountain is cursed, that the winds blowing through the spruce trees do not just carry leaves, they carry names, names of those who stepped into the shadows and never stepped out. It is December 1st, 1946. The air is different here. It is heavy with the scent of pine and oncoming snow. The sky is a flat, iron gray, pressing down on the world. Visualize a young woman. Her name is Paula Jean Weldon, 18 years old, a sophomore at Bennington College. She is bright, artistic, full of life. But on this day, it is not her face you notice first. It is her coat, a bright, crimson-red parka with a fur-trimmed hood against the bleak, gray landscape of early winter. She looks like a drop of blood on a blank canvas, vibrant, unmissable. She has finished her shift at the dining hall. She feels restless. The mountains are calling to her. She wants to see the long trail, a famous hiking path that cuts through the wilderness. She tells her roommate she's going for a short walk, just a few miles, to clear her head. She puts on her sneakers, totally unsuitable for the freezing ground. She doesn't take a hat. She doesn't take extra clothes, because she believes she will be back before dinner. We all think we will be back, don't we? Paula walks out of the campus gates and hitches a ride to the trailhead. Imagine walking with her. The gravel crunches under her thin shoes. The road is called Harbor Road, but it leads nowhere near water. It leads straight into the mouth of the forest. It is late afternoon. The sun is beginning to dip behind the mountain peaks. The shadows are stretching out, long and thin, like fingers reaching for her. A few people see her. A local contractor watches the girl in the bright red coat walking steadily uphill. An elderly couple is walking down the trail. They nod to her. They see her turn a corner, moving deeper into a place called Bickford Hollow. She's just 100 yards ahead of them. Just a few seconds. But when the couple turns that same corner, the trail is empty. Pause here and feel that silence. There was no scream, no sound of a struggle, no snapping twigs, just absolute nothingness. How does a girl in a bright red coat vanish against a gray background? She didn't blend in. She stood out like a beacon. And yet, in the blink of an eye, she was gone. Did she step off the path? Did the forest floor simply open up and swallow her? Or is there something else? Something older than us, living on Glastonbury Mountain? Night began to fall. The temperature plummeted. The first snow of the season began to drift down, gently covering the trail, covering whatever footprints she might have left. Back at the college, her roommate waited. Dinner came and went. The bed remained empty. The red coat did not return to the hook. The next morning, the alarm was raised, and then began one of the largest searches in history. Imagine 1,000 men, soldiers, police officers, firefighters, volunteers, shoulder to shoulder, walking through the woods, calling her name. Paula, Paula. Their voices echoed off the trees. But the mountain gave nothing back. Not a glove, not a shoe, not a single thread of that red parka. They brought in aircraft to scan from the sky, but all they saw was the endless green ocean of trees. They brought in bloodhounds, dogs with noses that never fail. But when the dogs reached the spot where she was last seen, they stopped, they whined, they cowered in fear. They refused to go further, as if the scent simply evaporated into the air. Whatever took Paula Jean Weldon left no trace for this world to find. Paula was not the first, and she was not the last. Before her, a hunter vanished. After her, a veteran vanished from a moving bus. A young boy vanished from his yard. 5 people, 5 years, 1 mountain. Some say it's a serial killer hiding in the caves. Some say it's a rift in reality, a hole in the fabric of time. Native American legends warn of a stone that swallows men. But tonight, we do not look for answers. We only honor the mystery. Picture Glastonbury Mountain one last time. The snow is falling harder now, burying the secrets deep under the ice. The girl in the red coat is walking forever in our memories, frozen in that moment, just before she turned the corner. We leave the cold winds of Vermont. We retreat back to safety. Let the image of the snow fade into black. You are not lost in the woods. You are found. You are here. Feel the pillow beneath your head, soft, supporting. Feel the blanket, warm and heavy, like a protective shield. The mysteries of the world are vast, but tonight, your world is small. Just this room, just this breath, in and out. Let the silence of the forest become a blanket of peace. Quiet, still. From the dark woods of Vermont, we travel south to the rolling hills of West Virginia, Fayetteville. The year is 1945. It is Christmas Eve, the most magical night of the year. The air is cold, biting at your skin. Snow is falling gently, covering the roof of a large 2-story timber house. Inside, the Sodder family is asleep. George, Jenny, and 9 of their children. The house is filled with the smell of pine needles and anticipation for the morning. Gifts are waiting, dreams are drifting, but this Christmas morning will never come. In the dead of night, around 1 a.m., the phone rings. A strange, shrill sound in the silence. Jenny wakes up to answer it. There is a voice she doesn't know, a wrong number, and a weird, cynical laugh on the other end. She goes back to bed. But the silence is broken again. Not by a phone, but by a sound on the roof. A heavy, rolling thud, like a rubber ball hitting the shingles, and then smoke, the smell of burning timber. The world turns orange. George and Jenny rush to save their children. They get 4 of them out. They stand in the snow, barefoot, shivering, watching the flames consume their home. They scream for the other 5. Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty. 5 children trapped upstairs. Here is where the tragedy turns into a mystery. George is a strong man. He tries to go back in. He runs to the garage to get his ladder, a ladder that is always there. But tonight, it is gone, vanished, found days later, hidden in a ditch. He runs to his coal trucks. He plans to drive them to the wall, climb on top, and reach the window. The trucks worked perfectly yesterday, but tonight, in the glow of the fire, they refuse to start. The engines grind and die, over and over again. It is as if an invisible hand is holding them back, stopping them from saving the children. The fire burned hot and fast. In just 45 minutes, the house was nothing but a basement full of ash. The parents waited for the firemen. They waited for the sunrise. They prepared their hearts, to find the remains of their 5 children, but when the ash cooled, when they sifted through the rubble, they found nothing. No bones, no teeth, nothing. Fire experts said the fire was not hot enough to burn bone completely. Even in a crematorium, bones remain. But in the Sodder house, 5 children simply ceased to exist. Did they burn, or were they never in their beds at all? Did they step out into the snowy night, guided by someone else, while the house burned as a distraction for the rest of their lives? George and Jenny planted flowers in the garden where the house stood, but they never stopped looking. The snow falling on West Virginia that night covered the truth forever. We leave the ashes behind. We travel now to the edge of the world, to the wild, grey Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Scotland. Here lie the Flannan Isles, 7 small rocks rising out of the crashing waves. They are also called the 7 Hunters, desolate, windswept, unforgiving. Standing on the highest rock is a lighthouse, a tall, white tower, a beacon of light in the overwhelming darkness. It is December 1900. 3 men are on duty: James, Thomas, and Donald. Their job is simple: keep the light burning, keep the ship safe. On Boxing Day, a relief ship, the Hesperus, arrives at the island. The captain blows the ship's whistle. He fires a flare into the sky. He expects to see the keepers come down the steps to welcome them, but there is only silence. No flag on the pole, no movement, just the sound of the ocean roaring against the cliffs and the seabirds crying in the wind. A boat is lowered. A relief keeper, Joseph Moore, rows to the shore. He walks up the steep stone stairs. He calls out their names: James, Thomas, Donald. His voice echoes off the cold stone walls, but no one answers. Joseph pushes open the heavy door to the lighthouse. Inside, everything is eerie and orderly. The fire in the grate has burned down to cold ash. The clock on the wall has stopped. In the kitchen, there is a meal on the table: meat, potatoes, pickles, cooked and ready to eat, but untouched. One chair is overturned on the floor, as if someone stood up in a hurry, as if they were interrupted by something sudden, something terrifying. But what could terrify 3 experienced sailors inside a fortress of stone? The most chilling clue was found in the logbook, the diary of the lighthouse. The entries described a storm so violent that the men were crying. James, a quiet man, was crying. Thomas, a strong veteran, was crying. The entry read, "Storm ending, sea calm, God is over all." But here is the mystery. Ships passing by nearby reported no storm. The weather station reported clear skies. The sea was calm. What storm were they seeing? Was it a storm of wind and rain? Or was it a storm inside their minds? A storm of madness? The 3 men were never found. Did a rogue wave sweep them away? Did one go mad and take the others with him? Or did something rise from the dark depths of the Atlantic and call their names? The Flannan Isles lighthouse still stands today. Its light still cuts through the night. But the mystery remains. 3 men, a half-eaten meal, and a logbook describing a storm that never happened. The ocean keeps its secrets deep, down in the cold, dark blue. Let us leave the ocean behind and travel to the heart of Russia, the Ural Mountains, the spine of the world that divides Europe from Asia. The year is 1959, January, the dead of winter. Imagine a train rattling along old iron tracks. Inside, there are 10 young students. They are laughing. They are singing songs to the rhythm of the wheels. They are the hikers of the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by Igor Dyatlov, a young man of great strength and great ambition. They are heading into the wilderness, looking for adventure, looking for the Grade 3 certification, the highest honor for a hiker. They do not know that they are heading towards a legend. Watch them as they get off the train. Their breath forms clouds in the freezing air. They're wearing heavy wool sweaters, fur hats, thick canvas jackets. They're carrying heavy backpacks filled with canned food, tents, and a mandolin. One of them, Yuri Yudin, falls ill. His legs hurt. He cannot continue. He hugs his friends goodbye at the last village. He watches them ski away into the white horizon. He feels sad to be left behind. He does not know that his illness has just saved his life. He is the only one who will grow old. The group of 9 moves deeper into the mountains. The days are short. The sun is a pale coin, hanging low in the gray sky. The nights are long and darker than ink. They ski across frozen rivers. The ice cracks and groans beneath them. They climb through dense forests of spruce and pine. The trees are covered in snow, looking like hunchbacked giants watching them pass. They write in their diaries. They write about the cold, about the beauty of the snow, about their dreams. Liuda, the youngest girl, writes about how tired she is, but she keeps going. They all keep going. On February 1st, they reach the foot of a mountain. The locals call it Kholat Shiakhul, the Dead Mountain. It is a place of bad omens, where the wind never stops screaming, where the reindeer refuse to go. But the hikers are not afraid of legends. They start their climb. The wind picks up. It bites their faces. It stings their eyes. They lose their way in the blizzard. Just a little bit. Instead of going over the pass, they are forced to camp right there on the exposed slope. Imagine the scene. Twilight is falling. The temperature is dropping rapidly. Minus 20 degrees, minus 25, minus 30. They dig a pit in the snow to flatten the ground. They pitch their large canvas tent. They take off their frozen boots. They hang up their wet clothes. They huddle together for warmth. Body heat is their only fire tonight. They eat a cold dinner. Crackers, ham, maybe a little chocolate. They create a satirical newspaper, joking about their journey. They are in good spirits. They are safe inside their fabric home. Outside, the storm is raging, but inside, there is friendship. They lay down their heads. The wind howls outside, slapping the sides of the tent. But they are used to it. They drift off to sleep, one by one, breathing slowly, unaware that something is waking up outside. Something happens. We do not know what, but it happens suddenly. And it happens silently. Panic. Absolute, primal panic. Someone wakes up. Someone screams. They do not have time to untie the knots of the tent door. They do not have time to find the zipper. In a frenzy of fear, someone takes a knife. They slash the canvas from the inside. Once, twice. Large gashes appear in the fabric. The wind rushes in. The snow rushes in, but they do not stay to fix it. They run. They scramble out of the cuts, into the freezing darkness. Look at them. 9 people, running for their lives. They leave everything behind. Their boots are still lined up by the door. Their jackets are still folded. Their food is still uneaten. Some are wearing only one sock. Some are barefoot. Some are in their underwear. Who runs into a blizzard, half naked, unless the thing inside the tent is more terrifying than death itself? They run down the slope, away from the tent, away from safety. They walk for a mile, down towards the tree line, towards the dark forest below. The snow is deep. It numbs their feet instantly, but they keep walking. They are together, helping each other, holding each other up. They reach a large cedar tree. They try to build a fire with frozen fingers and broken branches. They manage to light a small flame, but it is not enough. The cold is too strong. It wraps around them like a snake, squeezing the life out of them. Two of them die first. By the fire, they take off their clothes in the confusion of hypothermia. The others take the clothes, trying to save themselves. But it is too late. Three of them try to crawl back to the tent. Igor, Rustem, Zina. They crawl on their hands and knees, fighting the wind, fighting the mountain. But the mountain wins. They freeze, one by one, their faces buried in the snow. The last four are found months later, deep in a ravine, buried under 4 meters of hard, packed snow. Their injuries are strange: crushed chests, broken skulls, missing eyes, as if a giant hand had squeezed them. There were no tracks of animals, no tracks of other humans, just the 9 hikers and the silence. Did the wind drive them mad? Did a sheet of snow slide over the tent, making them think it was an avalanche? Or was it the unknown force that the Soviet files spoke of? Orbs of orange light seen floating in the sky that night? We will never know. The dead mountain keeps its secrets. The wind still howls through the pass. If you listen closely, you can almost hear their laughter from the train ride, fading, fading into the eternal white silence. From the high peaks of Russia, we travel to the flat, frozen lands of Canada, Nunavut, a land of ice and sky, where the horizon stretches forever, and the silence is so loud it hums in your ears. It is November 1930. Meet Joe LaBelle. He is a fur trapper, a man of the wilderness. His skin is weathered by the sun and the frost. He knows this land better than he knows himself. He is walking on snowshoes. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound echoes in the emptiness. He is tired. His legs are heavy. The cold is seeping into his bones. He needs shelter. He needs warmth. He smiles to himself. He knows a place. Lake Anjikuni. There is an Inuit village there. He has visited them many times. They are a friendly people, always ready with a hot meal, always ready to trade furs, always full of stories. He imagines the scene ahead, smoke rising from the chimneys, children playing in the snow, the smell of roasted caribou meat, the sound of husky dogs barking a welcome. It keeps him moving, just a few more miles. Joe crests the hill. He looks down at the lake. The village is there. The tents are there. The wooden huts are there, bathed in the silver light of the moon. But something is wrong. There is no smoke. There is no movement. And most disturbing of all, there is no sound, no dogs barking, no voices, just the wind whistling through the empty structures. Joe feels a shiver that has nothing to do with the cold. He calls out, "Hello! Is anyone there?" His voice hangs in the air, frozen, unanswered. He walks into the village. His footsteps feel too loud. He stops at the first hut. He pushes the flap aside. Hello. Empty. but not empty like an abandoned house. Empty like a paused moment. He walks from hut to hut, and in every home he sees the same impossible thing. Life interrupted. In one hut, a pot of stew is hanging over the fire pit. The fire has been out for days. The stew is frozen solid, but the ladle is still in the pot, as if someone was just about to serve dinner, and then vanished. In another hut, he finds a pile of seal skins. A bone needle is stuck in the fabric. Halfway through a stitch, a woman was sewing this coat. She pushed the needle in, but she never pulled it out. Where did she go? He finds rifles leaning against the door. His heart beats faster. In the wild, a rifle is life. No Inuit man would leave his weapon behind, unless he didn't leave by choice. Unless he didn't leave physically at all. He finds toys on the floor, carved wooden dolls, abandoned in the middle of a game. Everything is there. Clothes, food, weapons, tools. Only the people are missing. 2,000 people. Gone. In the blink of an eye. Joe runs out of the hut. He checks the ground frantically. He is a tracker. He can read the snow like a book. If 2,000 people walked away, the snow would be churned up. There would be a road of footprints, sled tracks, chaos. But the snow around the village is perfect, smooth, untouched, sparkling under the moonlight. There are no footprints leaving the village. None. It is as if the sky opened up and lifted them all away. He finds the dogs, 7 sled dogs, tied to a tree at the edge of the camp. They are dead, starved, buried under drifts of snow. They died waiting for masters who never came out of the huts. Why didn't the villagers cut them loose? Why let them suffer? Because whatever happened instantly. Joe LaBelle fled that village. He ran through the night to the nearest telegraph station. He told the police what he saw. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police sent a unit. They confirmed everything. The village of the dead, the frozen stew, the starving dogs. But they added one more detail to the mystery. The officers reported seeing strange lights. Not the northern lights, but artificial lights, blue and pulsating, hovering over the lake, changing shape, watching. Did the villagers walk onto the ice, and did the ice swallow them? The lake was dragged, but no bodies were found. Did they migrate? But they left their boots and weapons. The village of Lake Angikuni remains empty. The wind blows through the open doors. The needles are still rusting in the unfinished clothes, and the mystery hangs over the frozen water. Silent, eternal, unsolved. Let the frozen wind of the Canadian North fade away. We travel now to the open water, the vast, blue Atlantic Ocean. It is December, 1872. Imagine the ocean on a calm day. The waves are rolling gently, in and out, rocking the world like a cradle. The sun is glittering on the water. Everything is peaceful. Everything is quiet. A ship called the Dei Gratia is sailing towards Gibraltar. The captain, David Morehouse, is on deck. He looks through his spyglass. He sees a speck on the horizon. Another ship, a brigantine. He watches it for hours. The ship is moving strangely. It is yawing, drifting slightly with the wind. Its sails are not set correctly. They are flapping loosely, disorganized, like a bird with a broken wing. Captain Morehouse knows this ship. It is the Mary Celeste. He knows the captain, Benjamin Briggs, a good man, a careful sailor. Benjamin would never let his ship drift like this. Unless Something was terribly wrong. Morehouse signals the ship. Mary Celeste, do you need assistance? Silence. Only the sound of the wind, whistling through the rigging. Captain Briggs, answer me. Silence. Morehouse sends a small boat with 3 of his men to investigate. Imagine rowing across the water, the sound of the oars dipping into the sea. Splash, splash, splash. As they get closer, the Mary Celeste looms above them, silent as a tomb, the wood creaking softly as she rolls on the waves. Creak, groan, creak. The men climb aboard. Hello? Is anyone here? Their voices echo on the empty deck. There is no one at the wheel. The ship is sailing itself, steered only by the ghosts of the wind. The men go below deck, into the cabin. They expect to find signs of a struggle. Blood, violence, pirates. But they find peace. Inside the captain's cabin, everything is dry. Everything is in its place. A rosewood melodeon, a small organ, stands in the corner. Sheet music is open, as if someone had just been playing a lullaby. On the table, there are bowls. Some say breakfast was served. Teacups, still waiting to be drunk. Bread, waiting to be eaten. There is no sign of panic. A child's toy is lying on the bed. Captain Briggs's wife and 2-year-old daughter were on board. Where are they? They check the cargo hold. 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. Untouched, valuable cargo left behind. Pirates would have taken it, but it is all there. The sailors search every inch of the ship. There are 10 people missing. Captain Briggs, his family, and 7 crew members. They find the ship's logbook in the mate's cabin. The last entry was dated 10 days ago. 10 days. For 10 days, this ship has been sailing alone, guided by nothing but the currents. They check the lifeboat. It is gone. But why? Why would an experienced captain abandon a sturdy, safe ship? The Mary Celeste was not sinking. There was a little water in the hold, but nothing dangerous. She was seaworthy. She was safer than the tiny lifeboat. Did they think the ship was about to explode? Did they hear a rumbling? Did they see a sea monster rising from the deep, or did a fever of the mind take over the crew? There is one clue. A frayed rope, trailing in the water behind the ship. Some believe the crew tied the lifeboat to the ship, to trail behind for a while. Maybe to wait out a fume leak, but the rope snapped. Imagine the horror. Sitting in a tiny boat, watching your big, safe ship sail away from you, faster and faster, driven by the wind, leaving you behind, in the middle of the vast, empty ocean, small, helpless, watching your salvation disappear over the horizon. The men from the Dei Gratia sailed the Mary Celeste to port, but the crew was never seen again. The ocean kept them. The Mary Celeste became a legend, a ghost ship. But tonight, let us think of her not as a tragedy, but as a lullaby. Picture the ship, sailing forever, the sails full of white wind, the wood creaking rhythmically, rocking back and forth, back and forth. She is still out there, in our dreams, sailing through the mist, peaceful, empty, quiet. We have traveled far tonight, across oceans and mountains, through snowstorms and dark forests. We have witnessed the mysteries of the Yuba County Five, the Jameson family, the girl in the red coat, the children of the fire, the keepers of the lighthouse, the hikers of the dead mountain, and the silent village of the north. But now, the journey is complete. The stories are told. The mysteries are returning to the mist. There are no more questions to answer. There is nothing left to solve. Your mind can finally let go. Section 2. The walk back. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of the snowy forest, but you are not cold. You are wearing a heavy, warm coat. The wind has stopped. The snow is falling straight down, in large, soft flakes, like white feathers, drifting from the sky. You see a light in the distance, a warm, golden glow. It is the cabin, your sanctuary. You begin to walk towards it. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound of your footsteps is rhythmic, hypnotic, comforting. With every step, you leave the mysteries behind. Step and let go. Step and relax. Step and breathe. You reach the heavy wooden door. You open it. A wave of warmth rushes out to greet you. The smell of cedar wood and pine. You step inside and lock the door behind you. You are safe. The world outside cannot touch you here. You take off your heavy coat. You take off your boots. You walk over to the large, velvet armchair by the fireplace. The fire is crackling softly. Pop, hiss, crackle. The embers are glowing deep red and orange. You sit down. The chair embraces you. It is soft and supportive. You pull a thick wool blanket over your legs. You feel the weight of the blanket. It feels like a hug, grounding you, protecting you. Now, we will turn off the body, switch by switch, muscle by muscle. Bring your attention to your feet. They have carried you so far. Wiggle your toes, just a little. And then, stop. Let them drop open. Feel a warm, golden liquid pouring into your feet. It is heavy. It is relaxing. Your feet are asleep. Let the warmth rise into your ankles, into your calves. Feel the muscles melting, like butter on warm toast, melting and spreading. Your legs are becoming heavy, so heavy. They're sinking deep into the cushion. Let the warmth flow up, over your knees, into your thighs, into your hips. Release any tension you are holding there. Let it go. Let it drain away, into the chair. You are supported. You are held. Bring the warmth into your stomach. Let your belly become soft. There is no need to hold it in. Just let it rise and fall with your breath. Slow and steady. Feel the warmth wrapping around your chest, protecting your heart. Your heart rate is slowing down. Thump, 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 thump. Slow and peaceful. Focus on your hands, resting on your lap. Uncurl your fingers. Let your palms be open. Feel the tingling sensation in your fingertips. The energy is leaving your hands. Your arms are heavy, limp, relaxed. Move the relaxation up to your shoulders. Drop them down. Create space between your shoulders and your ears. Release the burden. Put it down. Relax your neck. Relax your jaw. Let your teeth separate slightly. Relax your tongue. Let it rest on the floor of your mouth. Relax your cheeks. Soften the skin around your eyes. Smooth out your forehead. Imagine a cool hand gently wiping away your thoughts. Your brain is quiet. Your body is asleep. You're just a consciousness, floating in warmth. I'm going to count down from 20 to 1. With each number, you will drift deeper into the velvet darkness, deeper into dreamless sleep. 20, drifting down. 19, so tired. 18, the fire is fading. 17, the room is dim. 16, heavier and heavier. 15, letting go. 14, safe. 13, warm. 12, floating. 11, the silence is beautiful. 10, halfway to the stars. 9, deeper still. 8, your body is gone. 7, just peace. 6, drifting. 5, almost there. 4, sleep is coming. 3. Embrace it. 2. Nothing matters now. 1. Sleep, sleep, sleep.